Good morning. Good morning and welcome on the Milipol Talk Show. We are the last day of the Milipol Show, and I don't know if it's rain or something else, but two of our guests are missing this morning, and so we are going to start with our two remaining guests, and I'm very glad to welcome them. On my right, Colonel Frédéric Monard from the Ministry of Interior, French Civil Security, Civil Defense. And on my left, Michel Bisque from Airbus Company. The talk on this morning is about command and control, crisis management, but mostly about the tools and the need in crisis. So we are going to speak about tactical operation, operational levels at the scale of a city, of a region, department, or national needs. What are the needs at the national level for crisis management? So from tactic to emergency to real crisis, what are the tools we can find on the market, and also what are the needs mainly of the first responder and of the authorities? So first of all, I would like to ask maybe a question to Colonel Monard. Today, you have in the Ministry of Interior only one tool for ranging those scalability. Do you think it's good enough? Do you think that the needs for using handling crisis, single, multiple crises, as we have seen at the beginning of the week, we have the tool today for this kind of event?
Hi, Christian. Thank you for your invitation. When you're talking about command and control, you just have to precise that command and control is all about decision. And command and control means to manage a contest in crisis or in operations. As for the Ministry of Interior, we have different situations to face with. First, we can have crisis management in civil protection, or we can manage crisis with security forces. But in fact, all these crises, they have different aspects, and it's normal that you need different tools to deal with this crisis. At certain levels, crisis can generalize, and then you're confronted to a real major crisis, and the level of the intervention can higher, and then you pass from the tactical level to an operative level, or if it's a major generalized crisis, you can have the strategic level with a political decision. So in the Ministry of Interior, I think each direction, either the police direction or gendarmerie direction or civil protection direction, has in its own tool. And this tool can manage only very purposed crisis like civil protection or security, but what we need is maybe sort of an intermediate tool to make all this direction, talk together and try and, process the information, analyze, try to share the information, and then maybe bring up the information and the intelligence to the decision level, which could be the Minister of Interior or the Prime Minister.
No, that it's very interesting, because in fact we found this kind of structure that you describe in France, of course, between the tactical operative and crisis strategic level. We find that also in UK with the bronze, silver, and gold. Yep. In the US, it's slightly different because they have the emergency support function and all those stuff. So it's a little bit more interagencies and more complex because they have much more agencies involved in this response. And of course, the tools must fit, in fact, with the operative organization of the chain of command.
Yep.
And we have seen something very interesting on the Airbus booth. Those few days, it's a new, very interesting tactical. So we are going first to focus on tactical, and after we will come back on the I would say the needs and maybe in more details about what kind of function you want to find. But first start with the tactical operation. So you have designed a new systems for especially the intervention forces.
Yes, hi, thank you for your invitation. So I will speak only for the tactical part. Some years ago, the tactical unit, SWAT team of the French police came to us because they need a tool to share information. For them, it was important to share information from the tactical operational ground up to the authority, political authority, which has to make decisions. So we designed and developed a specific tool for them. It's an IT tactical system, and the main thing of the system is easy to use. Those guys have no time. They are working in a stress environment. It has to be easy, plug-and-play tool.
So it's a plug-and-play tool which allow at the same time to have a tactical view on the system, to exchange between the different teams, and at the same time to scale and to escalate the information to all the channels common in real time.
Yes, in real time. Everything in real time through different kind of communications channels, synchronized between them, and using always the best way to communicate.
What I found very interesting in the presentation I have seen, it's the fact that finally all the information is digital and exchanged in real time. So you reduce a lot the need for radio communication.
Of course, our tool, it's what they are telling to us, that our tool make the radio communication less. So they in fact, now they're using radio just for really typical and very precise information which has to be exchanged.
Alors, this is a tactical, and we see, especially in operation like we have seen yesterday in Sunny, done by the Red, when you have a very focused operation, even if you have multiple, but you have a focused operation in a closed areas, which is slightly different than very large civil security event, natural disasters. And I have in mind the last big operation that the French rescue did in the south of France after the big storms and big flash floods in the southeast. At this time, you have many operations going on in the field, and the problem is to get an operative picture of the situation. So today, many fire departments are equipped with many tools for command and control, dispatch, including mapping, including GIS location for some of them, and so on and so on. That gives a good operative picture, but often the problem is, as you mentioned before, is to share between the different forces. So how it's done in France?
Well, you're right. The example that gave the engineer for Airbus is quite relevant, because in this case, you only need to have an operational picture of the tactical level, because for the special forces, especially, they have to refer directly to the level, the highest level, which is the Prime Minister. But for disaster management, especially in civil protection, we need a different scaling of the operations. First, we need to have ground control for different firefighters, even security forces. We've seen that in the floods, where there are different issues, mixed together. For instance, containment and also protection, because there might be lots of smugglers, on sites. So you definitely need to combine security and civil protection. That's a key issue. To come back to the last events, for instance, in Charlie or the Paris attacks, the recent Paris attacks, you also mentioned that there was a real need for coordination between police forces and firefighters. because when police forces, for instance, give the assault, they need first aid because they will be victims, and they will definitely need a complete organization, a first aid organization with advanced medical posts, with maybe field hospitals in some countries. So the need for coordination is very, very pregnant. So I think the French organization between the local level and the operative level that allows to coordinate between different state services, and then the strategic level, which is only the level to, process, analyze, and give the decision to the commander. Maybe give him some options to decide on. That's a good organization and also a good way to process and give relevant information that we call, in the army, that we call intelligence, for the political authority to command and to decide what action are going to be taken.
Alors, one of the issue that we look today in those systems, we see three pieces. Usually we see the log, which is a chronology records of what's going on, what are the decisions taken, and so on, which follow by orders, sometimes with other systems. So we see dashboards to give a global picture of the situation. We have seen on the different booths this kind of product, and including with GIS to get a full scope of geographical information at the same time, because people like to see. But there is a new tools coming in, which is image and video. People want to see what's going on the field. So do you get that feeling also that now commander, authorities want to see in real time what's going on?
Yeah, you're right. Well, there are a few functions that we must pinpoint. The first one, I think the main and the most important function is information management. This is the crew, the real need for the commander to deal with information and to get proper intelligence out of it. Then there is the logistics, then there is what we call administration, and there is also security. Once you've got these four functions, your operations center could work. In information management, we can mention all the issues that you've talked about. That could be GIS position, that could be mapping, that could be human information, human intelligence, that could be intelligence coming from captors, sensors on the ground. That's useful for the operative level. At the strategic level, I think the need for image and what do we call datas is relevant, but is not useful, because the real image, you have it on the ground. So if you want to have a good picture of what's going on the field, you need to be on the ground and you need to face with the intervention. If you just try to deal and to command with data or images that come from a video, I think you always have a lot of chance, to get misdecisions.
It's not comprehensive enough to get a full picture through one picture. I would say that.
It's true.
But it's a fact. It's why the live TV channels now it's very popular also in crisis management, because you get what's. But anyhow, even to bring back in a crisis room data, radio communication, GIS location, and so forth. You need good connection, you need good connectivity. So now we see that the radio is of course a broadband which is limited, so mainly used by voice, even if you have data, but the data flow is quite narrow.
Yeah.
So now we are based more and more in disaster management and security forces on satellite. So I wanted to come back on that. Airbus is one of the very big provider of satellite communication. So what is the scale of what you propose? Because from tactical, you have satellite.
Of
already.
course, because tactical, they always need to be connected. So first of all, they use the land communication, but land communication is based on land infrastructures. And during crisis management, you never know what's going to happen. So more and more they want to use, and they are using satellite solutions. Airbus is, as you told, one of the biggest provider in the world of satellite solutions. We are designing, building satellites. We are sending them on in space, and of course we are selling services to provide satellite communications to forces and police.
So the satellite, but it's coming from a small square of a couple of inches direct satellite communication for tactical needs, up to very big satellite system, as the one I've seen on the Magic. And I would like to take the opportunity to say to the people of Milipol, go to visit Magic. Magic is a big truck, extensive truck.
Mobile Operations Center.
Mobile Operations Center, which is just installed in front the entrance of the VIP at Milipol, and I would advise all the people to visit it because it's a very impressive piece of operation on trucks. So maybe a comment. Why did you create this common truck, which is very impressive and very large?
Yeah, we've noticed, for instance, during major disasters, natural disasters, for instance, infrastructure, critical infrastructure, could be destroyed or could be an operation. So we thought we need sort of an operational center to make people work and to command on the ground. If we cannot use infrastructure, we need a mobile command post to give orders, to collect the information from satellites or from different ICTs. And that's why we build this big command post that...
Yeah, because it's more, I would say, operational and strategic command post than really tactical. I mean, it's really the level of a big region or a support for the national level.
I think it's good tool for the operative level, intermediate. So would say...
what we call in France the zone.
Yeah. It's a good way when all the infrastructure is down to have a proper command post on the field, and then to coordinate all the different efforts, all the different services on the ground. Because of course it can process data, it get mapping through satellites, and it's a very useful tool on the ground. But as you know, France has always participated in different operations, especially abroad, as far as civil protection is concerned, major floods, and a good thing could be to send this tool on the ground to a major operation for floods, for instance, or for an earthquake, and to see how it can connect to different systems, especially overseas, and to see how it works.
Yeah. It's true that especially overseas, France's territories are exposed to many natural disasters, and we never know what's can happen.
If I can add something, there is major exercise in the French territories overseas next, and I think it's about an earthquake, and I think Magic will be used in this exercise. So it will be a good way to promote this nice instrument.
Yeah, I think that in this field now, what we could see, maybe, and you will tell me if I'm true or not, but I think that more and more we are going to see some fusion between the different level of information and kind of filters regarding what is going from tactical to strategic. So do you think that with the new technologies, with the capability of the triage of the information, the display of the information, the geographic tools, and the aspect of real time, we are going to see in the future a more, I would say, joint vision and fusion vision of operations?
Yes, of course. Information, as a general, needs to merge at a certain level. So I think at the local level, you need to merge different information from the tactical level, so that you provide intelligence to the operative level. And then at the operative level, you need to connect the different services that deal with the crisis on the region level, for instance, or zone level, in order to give the good tools for decision to the strategic level, which is actually the head of the state. But there is another approach, that is to say that beforehand, the information used to go up, to go to the top, and then decision should be made. But now we have another way to deal with the information, because with the new technologies, with maybe all the data, mobile phone, SMS, and all these services, information needs to come from top to bottom and then go up again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and we've seen that during the attacks in Paris, you can get very good information from people, from the ground, through different social medias. So this information should be analyzed, should be processed, and then re-exploited at the different levels to give good decision tools to the head of the state.
Yeah, we had a talk yesterday on the use of social media and crisis management, which is a big new things, because every citizen can to be a sensor with that, and it can be very useful. But the problem is the information management in this field, which is not easy. I think it's a lot of work still to remain to be done on those issues. But we see the direction of fusion of information, but the need also for more technology on telecommunication, broadband, capabilities of treatment of information, and so on. So we are going to end this talk.
I just want to add one thing about the fusion, maybe more the industrial point of view. Crisis management involves a lot of actors, a lot of agencies, which came with their own tools. Those tools have to communicate between them. So I think it's the responsibility maybe of the authorities to make norms, standards, to make, and it's the responsibility of the industry to implement the standards, to make the system open and make them communicate together.
Yeah. The standards is a key point, not only in this field, but if we want interoperability, we need standards. And that's a whole story. So I just advise you to go to the different booths, because there are many industries working on those issues. Here in Milipol, you will have, of course, Airbus, you have Thales, Tech One, Octopus, Sistel, everywhere, just for naming some of them. So thank you for following us this morning, and we will have a next talk within now for 30 minutes on other security subject on Milipol. Thank you.
Thank you.